Greetings, my name's Kevin. Thanks for joining me today. We are going to be doing the unboxing and just a brief review of some of the new features of the GoPro 10 Hero Black. Before we jump into that, I did want to discuss a few things. A lot of people are mentioning online in their reviews how wonderful the camera is. However, excuse me, the camera is running into issues with overheating. A lot of this relies on the settings that you have. The harder the camera works, the more likely it is to overheat. If you're filming in 5K, if you're not getting any wind flow to it, if you're using the U-tooth, the stabilization, the more the camera is using, the harder it's working, and the more likely it is to overheat. With that being said, GoPro did issue an update for the software, but that is just changing some of the settings. You're not shooting in 5K, you can shoot in 4K, you can turn off your Bluetooth, you can turn off the stabilization with it, and you will get a little bit more time. Now I will say I had the original Hero GoPro and the GoPro Hero 5, mainly used them for riding my motorcycle, pretty big on zip lining, snorkeling. I've never had any problems with the other cameras overheating. Most of those activities you're getting a lot of airflow, especially if you're on your motorcycle outside, you're getting airflow to it. But again, it's got the new processor with this camera. This one is waterproof up to 33 feet, which is 10 meters. It has 8 times slow motion. Some really good effects could be achieved with that. It has time warp. New upgraded time warp, has a webcam mode. You can shoot in 5.3K or 4K, has voice control, 1080p live streaming, uploads automatically to the cloud. So while you are charging this, you don't have to plug it into your computer with your USB, although that would be the fastest way. But if you're simply charging this GoPro 10 will upload your photos to the cloud. Also mod ready. I didn't really go with one of their mod packs. I got a bunch of accessories here I will cover as well, but you can get like a video mod or a vlogger's mod, which comes with a different case. It has a microphone attachment that goes on the side, a mirror screen so you can see what you're filming. You can hook it on a tripod and things like that. A tripod, excuse me. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked to get into this as the new GP2 processor, as I mentioned, and a lot of stabilization and hyper smooth built into this. So yeah, let's get this thing open. I'm going to go for a ride later. I will be back to do a full review once I've used this for about a week. Riding my bike. I am heading to Thailand next month. I want to use it for scuba diving and snorkeling and using it around the beach. So once I get a really good feel, I'll give you my opinion of the camera. Plenty of reviews online. But again, the major issue seems to be with overheating. So let's jump in, man. Like I said, I'm pretty stoked about trying this out. Came 2 days, quick ship from through UPS. Comes with a pretty good standard case here, the GoPro case. This is a pretty hard case right here. It's going to protect your camera, whatever accessories you put in there. Now, I do have a bigger case for my other GoPros. It's about twice this size, and it has some dividers in it that move around by Velcro, and you can choose how big of a section you want to. This one, I'm assuming, is going to just be one big opening. And in fact, it is. So here's what you're getting inside. Let's take a look. It comes standard with your USB to C. Again, you can plug this in to charge the battery. And what I generally do is just download my photos to my computer directly with this. But like I said, it can also, through Bluetooth, it will upload to the cloud. That's the cord right there. Also comes with one standard battery. Now, with my other GoPros, I've always bought extra batteries because this one here will last you about an hour This is generally the battery that's come with the last couple GoPros, the 9, I think possibly the 8 too, maybe even earlier models. But these generally will only give you an hour, which is not a lot of time. Like I said, I like to use mine when I'm riding my bike. I don't want to stop so often just to change out my battery. So just know I would recommend getting some extra batteries or SIM cards, which I did, and I'll show you which options I chose. This is your mounting clip that's go on to the bottom of your GoPro. It comes with another mounting clip. This particular one is curved. As you can see, it's slightly curved here. You can tell the difference. The curved ones have a square mount going around it. The ones that are flat, the edges are rounded off a little bit better. This is great. I use them for helmet mounts, anything that's curved, shoulder mount. Never tried that. Any car guys out there that are filming, this is great for sticking to the hood of your car. Again, any curved surfaces. This is the only sticky mount that is coming with the GoPro. However, you can get a grab bag for maybe about 10 to 20 bucks, I think. That'll have 5 to 10 of these and some other accessories in them. And with the main mount here, it also comes with your screw that simply screws in there and attaches it to your camera. I'll give you a little demonstration of that in a moment. Here is the actual GoPro. Now, upon picking it up for the first time, it feels about the same size, about the same weight as the other GoPros I've had. Let's take it out of the sleeve here. Chuck that aside. And again, this is just a little pretty cheap foam packaging case here. I'll chuck that to the side as well, literally. Like I said, this is a pretty nice case right here. You can use a couple towels or something to divide it, whatever accessories you have. Most of them are going to fit in there except like extension arms and things like that. The GoPro itself, the 9 had white writing, the 10 has blue. It's got a screen on the front. The lens here, I do like the way that it has a protective film on here that we will peel off. And of course, your screen on the back. Now, my other GoPros did not have the screen on the front. I really like this feature, especially if you're going to be vlogging or doing selfies, or you want to see what you're filming, doing a selfie mode. You have this screen on the front, and anybody familiar with GoPros, most of your functions and your menu are going to be on the larger screen here, but it's going to give you a display on the smaller screen here as well as to what your settings are, maybe your battery life, how many photos you took, if it's in camera, video mode, things like that. So I'm not going to peel these off right now. I'll do that in a little bit. As far as for attachments, this particular GoPro has 2 little arms that are going to flip down on the bottom right here. And then your mount, this will slide straight onto there. And then you get that pin we're talking about, and you'll just line that up. And it allows you to pivot. So once you get it mounted, and again, I use it on my motorcycle a lot, I get it to the right angle, then you just crank this pin all the way down, crank it down really good, and that's going to prevent it from moving. You can still adjust it a little bit, but again, once you have it where you want it, crank this pin all the way down right there. So there you go. That's your basic GoPro 10. I can't wait to get out, go for a ride this evening. And I'm heading to Thailand later next month. I'm going to do some snorkeling and spending a lot of time on the beach there. I may wait till I return to write my review. So keep an eye out for it. Wherever you're seeing this video, I do have my vlog and my blog over at steppinwithkevin.com, where you can follow up on my review, my personal review of how I liked the camera. The GoPro 10 basically just has 2 basic buttons to operate it. Your side button is going to be your power button, and depending on what menu you're going through on here, the power button on the side is also going to back you out of whatever menu you're in. The top one is very simply for starting and stopping your videos or taking photos. So both buttons have pretty simple functions. This is your power. It'll back you out of any menus you're in on the side. The top is for starting and stopping videos, for shooting photos. All the rest, you're going to go through a menu here like you would on a computer and pick your settings. And again, there's a whole lot of really awesome settings on the new GoPro. We'll get into that a little bit later. Also, in the case comes a nice little chamois for keeping your lens clean and your screens. For those of you who know, for those of you who don't, GoPro does not really come with a lot of instructions or directions on how to use it. This card is just simply going to show you how to put in your SD card, your memory card, your battery, and how to hook up your USB to C. The front simply shows you how to attach the mount, which I just went through, and a couple GoPro promotion stickers here. You would think it would be a manual on how to use it and go through the settings, but it's not. None of the GoPros I've had ever came with that. You can check out some YouTubers as far as the best settings that they like. You can also do as I did. I called GoPro. They sent me a couple of links, actually about 15 of them, of how to get your camera set up and to familiarize yourself with it. I think I'm too excited to go out and use this thing. So yeah, there you go. Your case, pretty simple. Like I said, I would get one that has some dividers, or you can be creative on how you want to divide things in there. It's got a little mesh net for your accessories. So there you go. That's the basic GoPro. Now, this particular GoPro does not come with an SD card. I've heard some people that they are getting an SD card with the GoPro, but on the box it says sold separately. So check where you're buying it from. I've seen some places, not going to name anybody on the internet, that say it comes with a 32 gigabyte memory card. That's certainly not enough. I opted to get the 256 gigabyte card here. I knew my GoPro was not coming with an SD card with the memory card, so I opted for this. If you don't buy a memory card with your GoPro and you don't have a memory card coming with it, you're not going to be able to use it. So you're going to be really excited to get your camera, and it's going to be a few days before you can go out, unless you go shopping at Best Buy or something nearby. Again, opted for the 256 gigabyte card here. When I'm riding my bike, I don't want to stop every so often to change out my battery or because my memory card ran out. You'll get about 4 hours off of this one here. Also, since we're talking about batteries, your standard GoPro one here, like I mentioned, you're probably going to get about maybe an hour out of that, which isn't much time. If you're snowboarding, somebody that uses it in cold weather, it's going to drain this battery quicker. So I opted for the Enduro batteries, and this here is a 2-pack. It's also a dual charger, so you can charge both of these at the same time, or one of those and your stock one at the same time. Another thing I don't like is batteries taking a long time to charge. Maybe you're taking a break, you're running home, you're having lunch somewhere in between your riding or your surfing or whatever. You need some extra batteries. I always have these two charged up and the one that came with the camera. I generally have 2 SD cards and 3 batteries, but again, this charge is quicker. You can charge 2 at the same time. These are also said by GoPro to be longer lasting, wider temperature range, and to have higher performance in cold weather, so keep that in mind. I did also opt for the protective housing here. The protective housing, when I'm using it on my bike, I've had rocks fly up from the road, hit this, and I was glad I had it. You know, the camera runs $350 to $400 an average, depending on where you buy it. The GoPro is also waterproof down to 10 meters, which is about 33 feet, standard like it is. This allows it to go down farther. This will allow you to go, let's see what the stats are here, 196 feet, 60 meters. So being that I like to scuba dive, this will allow me to do that. However, this is going to limit the airflow. So depending on where you're diving, the water may be cool or hot, but for other uses, this is going to limit airflow. So I'm going to have to see how that affects the performance of the camera and the overheating. My original GoPro Hero and my GoPro 5 did not have any overheating issues, but again, we got the new memory card with the GoPro, the new chip rather. So that's the main reason it's overheating. But I would recommend this. And even if you're just running around the beach and, you know, swimming in the waves a little bit, there's sand in the water. And even though GoPro is waterproof, I've got a buddy that's got one. It every time he uses it, sand gets caught up in a little rubber mounting around the door and sometimes in the screw and whatnot. He tries to rinse it out, use a toothbrush and warm water, but you just get that gritty sound. And you know, I'm talking about you're spending $300 or $400 on this camera right here. I think it's worth it for the protection, depending on what you're going to do. That's really, you know, your personal choice. I just think that's a great option. Again, I'm going to have to see how that comes into play with overheating. The new GoPro 10 also offers a wider range of view through the lens, but I opted for the max lens mod. This will allow you up to 155 degrees of view, a much wider view, and this also has additional stabilization features for your GoPro. So some of the things I'd mentioned that you can do to help your GoPro from overheating, don't use Bluetooth. You know, while you're using it, you don't really need it, except for the fact that you can control the GoPro 10 through the app with your camera. So you would need Bluetooth. But if you're out using it, you're not using a camera to actually control the GoPro, you're not going to need the Bluetooth. Depending on what you're doing, you're not going to need stabilization. You know, if you got it sitting there on a tripod just filming, or, you know, just using photos, you may not need a stabilization as much. This does say waterproof down to 5 meters, 16 feet. But interesting enough, it also says on the back of the package here, not for underwater use, as it will distort the image. So again, I'm gonna have to check that out when I'm snorkeling and scuba diving. But in general, I like to get the full view of everything, especially with all the amazing features of the GoPro. It has many different modes for filming and a wide variety of settings. So I just like to capture everything. This simply hooks on to the front of your GoPro. This lens that's on here now, you just push and counterclockwise, it'll twist off. Then you take your mod lens, snap it on, and twist it clockwise till it snaps back in place. So it sounds like I can switch them out pretty easily if I'm going in the water or out. I would assume if you're just snorkeling and you're going in and out of the water, this may not distort the image too much. Again, I'll be back to write a review once I figure all that out and how I like it. I also thought this was pretty dope. It's a 3-way 2.0, comes with a tripod, a grip, and the arm. So you can extend out to a short tripod here. Again, you know, I like to use it at the beach. You can set it down, maybe put it on slow-mo or one of the other settings, fast mode, the longer exposure, set on the tripod, let it be, and, you know, get a good 5 to 10 minute video. It also has the grip, which is very handy for just being out and about, so you don't have to grip the camera. One thing about gripping the GoPro, because it's so small, that you very often do have your fingers in the view. It's got a lot of people, it's hard with the bigger hand like I have to hold it and film with not getting your own fingers in the shot. So that's a good reason to have the grip. And this one also extends out to about 20 inches, I believe, 19.5 inches. So that's great to get in some shots, following yourself, you know, different views, different angles. So you're getting 3 in 1. I will recommend, if you're using this in salt water, that you rinse it off. This is not a telescopic one, but with my past experiences, I had one that was like a 2 or 3 in 1. It did get sand in there, and you would have like the grit. You'd hear the little gritty, sandy sounds very often. And if you have an extension, one of the handles that extends out, the sand gets in there. And after you open and close it a couple times, the sand's really going to get in there, make it very difficult. I've had to replace a few in the past. So if you do that, just definitely rinse it off before you close them up if you're using salt water. So there you go. I kind of made my own adventure bundle here. I got all this for under $700. It was closer to $600, I believe. And man, I can't wait. Gonna get this battery charged up, stick my SIM card in there, go for a ride. Check this out. Pretty excited. And I wanted to thank you for joining me. Again, check out steppingwithkevin.com for more about the GoPro 10 and my reviews coming up about how I liked it and what environments I was using it in. Cycle riding, zip lining, scuba diving, snorkeling, still do a little bit of skateboarding. And there you go. Again, I appreciate it. Have a good one. And remember, do it for the destination.